ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם, שהכל נהיה בדברו. Most of us make wrong decisions in life. We make mistakes. You know, you learn from your experience, but we make mistakes. You can't anticipate always what is going to be the consequence, the result of your actions. So we make mistakes. When one reads the Bible, and I mentioned to you in many an opportunity, we read the Torah, the first part of the Bible, annually in the synagogue, or you read it at home, and we finish it once again, and we read about the Jewish experience in Egypt. You know, Jews were enslaved in Egypt. At that time, you were born a slave, you died a slave. Your children are slaves, and slavery is forever. There was no escape. And actually, the exodus from Egypt is a tremendous teaching. Slavery does not have to be permanent. You can overcome it. In our case, we overcame it thanks to God. But we learned from that experience. That tells us, how did God finally, through Moses, achieve the freedom of the Jewish people, the Hebrews, from slavery in Egypt? Well, the Bible says that God sent 10 plagues. And there were different plagues. The first one, I think, if I'm not mistaken, was the conversion of the waters of the river Nile into blood. And then there were other plagues that followed, locusts and so on. Why didn't Pharaoh let the Jewish people, the Hebrews, out of Egypt after 2, 3, 4, 5 plagues? Why did he have to wait for 10? You know what it is? I think that Pharaoh thought so much of himself that he was a god and he was going to fight this. And he made a decision, even though he saw it was the wrong decision. He insisted he has to make the same decision again. And I think we do the same thing. Many a time we make a wrong decision. And then when a similar situation occurs, boom, we make the same decision again. We can't get out of this paradigm of behaving in a certain way. And I think it's a tremendous problem because you have to learn from your mistakes. If you keep on making the same mistake time and again, obviously you're not thinking, or maybe you think too much of yourself. You think that you cannot make a mistake. You can overcome everything. The important thing is to learn from your mistakes. And sometimes we are so in love with ourselves that we cannot admit the possibility that we make a mistake. I think this was the problem of Pharaoh. He thought too much of himself. He felt that he is the most intelligent, that he knows everything. And if there is an obstacle, he will overcome it. He could not admit that there is a superior power in this world. Well, I think that people that have common sense learn from their mistakes. And if they see that a certain action, a certain attitude doesn't lead you in the direction that you really want to go, then they try to do something else. Because otherwise, you'll be in front of an obstacle that you'll never be able to overcome. So think to yourself, why are you acting in a certain way? Is it because you think you're always right? Or maybe because you can't see there's another way, there's an alternative in which way you can act?